All right, how's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to a Saturday night, about 9:19 p.m. California time here, December 14th, 2024 is the date. Latest activity here on the Earthquake 3D Globe shows a 3.1 earthquake. Looks like there's a little bit more than 24 hours here on the globe, so we're going to drop this down just a tad bit here. Because I noticed that 6-pointer is still on there, and I think it's been over past 24 hours, right? Since we've seen that 6-pointer. Let me double check. Yeah, it should be gone. Stand by here for just a second while I get that up and running. Bring that down a little bit. I guess they're right about there. Most of the time, the 24-hour period is going to be that second line. But, okay, so what do we have out here? A little bit of movement out in Nevada, ramping back up, following that 5.8 earthquake there a few days back. Couple threes being thrown in the mix here today with the latest, a 3.6. A little bit further south here of the original swarming area. So a little bit of migration there. You can follow that line of activity stretching down to the south. Now that area, let me blow this up here just a little bit so you guys can see. This area where the earthquake activity struck is going to be on the Busca fault. Kind of a thrust fault here, it looks like, right around that area. I thought it was at one time on this fault system here, but it looks like it's more prominent on this little west to east thrust fault here, as noted across this area right here. The Wasuk fault zone is going to be a little bit more to the southeast. So if you look here, it's going to make sense to be this area right here, the Wabuska fault. And, there's a little bit of motion here, but there's a little curvature as well going down south here, which is quite interesting because that would, I guess it could be maybe on the Mason fault that is possibly directing into. Either way, there's, got to watch that because could trigger some other seismic activity out here. Total tally so far, 338 earthquakes there following that 5.8, the largest so far. In the earthquake sequence out there, the rest of Nevada, minimal movement there across the rest of the state. As far as Northern California goes, last earthquake shows 2.7 a couple hours ago, 5-hour gap or 6-hour gap in between that 2.7 and the 2.1, so they say. So things are calming down just a little bit out here following that 7-pointer about 8-9 days ago or so, somewhere around there. As far as tremor goes, let's go ahead and check out the Cascadia tremor tonight. See what we have going on. 84. Wow, 84 epicenters of tremor once again across the southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. It's just been an ongoing ordeal here. Here's the past week of tremor activity. It's been letting up a little bit, but consistent down here across the southern end. So the strain is still out there. Obviously, these little quakes and the tremor events themselves are actually adding further strain up at the locked area of the Cascadia. But these little other quakes out here around the region really not doing anything in terms of releasing strain from the big earthquake that will strike out there one day. Whether that's tonight or tomorrow or here in the next 20 years, we'll have to see. I just don't think we're looking at that type of time period in terms of earthquake activity. I think it's going to be sooner than later, just with everything that's been going on out here recently. One earthquake right around the Mount Hood area. Looks like the southern end here of Mount Hood. Couple smaller earthquakes there around that beautiful, absolutely beautiful volcano. I love taking the drive up here across the this area of Oregon and Washington, the border area. Depending on what side you're on there, either way, it's a beautiful drive. I want to check the Mount Hood seismograph stations here real quick and see what we have. There's a couple of those small earthquakes down there near the government camp area. Let's check out a seismograph station to see if we got anything other than those couple of small quakes. Or they are showing up quite nicely. I like these seismograph stations here, these graphs that work properly. They show the earthquakes as they're supposed to. There's 4 of them at least. in the last few hours. Previous to that, this looks a little bit overblown, but I don't see anything that would tell me that there's some other type of earthquake activity happening out there. It looks pretty quiet, at least on that, as far as the previous graphs go. But we'll continue to watch that. A little bit of movement there, 4 quakes, and that's what's showing up there on the USGS map. Southern California, well, let's check out the Bay Area here. Got about 2 earthquakes out there. Did you guys hear about that tornado down there outside of Santa Cruz near Scotts Valley right here? Tornado damaged some cars and trees, and a couple people got hurt today from a afternoon tornado out here along the Santa Cruz Mountains area. And in fact, the San Francisco area city limits region issued their first tornado warning ever early this morning. Now, that was just due to a rotation indicated on radar. I don't think there was any confirmed tornado, but down here near the Scotts Valley area, that's all over social media there. There's, the tornado is plain as day. Pretty crazy weather, so we'll check that out here at the end of this update. Bay Area, in terms of earthquake activity, quiet for now. But man, a lot of stuff happening out here. Southern portion of the state, a couple smaller quakes there this morning around the extreme Southern California area. Aside from that, really nothing of any abnormal activity. I guess we could say we're getting a little bit of further movement along the southern end here of the Elsinore fault. That's starting to light up a little bit more than normal. It is a fairly lengthy fault. It extends there into the Los Angeles area. Just getting some movement at the southern end of that fault system. Yellowstone National Park, nothing showing up there for now. And as you can see, looks like there was one earthquake out there that was registered on all the seismograph stations there. You guys see that little speck on all of them, little slice on the graph, so to speak. That looks like it's probably a 2 or maybe a 2.3, somewhere around there, a little bit low grade 2. Nothing showed up here on the USGS map for that earthquake. So, maybe they'll get to it here Monday morning, but for the most part, the weekends, they really don't report anything here unless it's above a certain magnitude. Let's see, Texas area, pretty quiet. It's actually, this area of the country has gone quiet here in the last couple days. Nothing going on across the New Madrid seismic zone. The Big Island of Hawaii, a couple more earthquakes up there across the Kilauea volcano. Most of those look like they're from this morning, so really nothing major happening there for now. Up at Mauna Kea area, that's a fairly deep earthquake underneath the area. Probably has to do with the strain of the Hawaii Islands out here, the Big Island, atop the Pacific Plate. So just kind of seeing some deeper activity underneath that region. Up into Alaska, some movement way up north here. Looks like a little 3.1. A couple other smaller quakes out there through the area. One deep earthquake here into the Kuril-Kamchatka. That's the major subduction zone here. Looks like a 4.5, 76 miles deep there. Still watching the area. It looks like it's, for the most part, taking a little break back here across this area. For a few days there, we were popping earthquakes left and right across the northern Pacific Plate area and California, Nevada. It was quite active. It's still continuing, but on a lower scale. But I don't think we're done with all the excitement yet. So a little bit of activity here across the Japan region, even some on the Kumano Ridge. There are a couple smaller quakes there across that subduction zone that Japanese folks there is expecting a mega quake on this area soon. They put out a mega quake warning for this subduction zone there a couple months back. Not showing up here on the USGS map, but it is here on the EMSC model. Looks like for 3.9, maybe. I don't know if that 3.6 is in there or not, but it's right about here. So at least one 3.9 in the subduction zone area itself. Further out and about here, Hikurangi subduction zone, seeing a little bit of activity early this morning with a 5.2 at the extreme northern end. As far as any elevated activity following that event, looks like a couple older 3s down here, some very shallow adjustment. Further deeper activity up here across the Tonga and the Kermadec Trench, but it's definitely ramping up out here. It looks like things are really starting to kick up. 5.2 across the Solomon Islands region, fairly new earthquake. But yeah, I would say it's a lot more active out here across the western areas of the Pacific Plate and adjacent plate here than we've seen in a few days. Some movement out in the Indian Ocean as well, out there in the, kind of like to call it the zipper boundary, but it's kind of looks like a zipper, right? That's some new oceanic crust being formed throughout time, obviously, slowly but surely. 5.1 from a spreading seafloor center out there around the Vima or Vema? What do you think? Vima Trench area. Fairly recent quake, looks like earlier this evening. Let's see, aside from that, Atlantic Ocean, pretty quiet. A little bit of movement further south here, following that 5.3 in the South Sandwich Trench. Looks like a 4.6 earthquake there. Fairly recent. Don't know why that 5.3 showed up there. It's odd. Getting this time thing all messed up right here, looks like, for some reason. I like to keep the last 24 hours here on the globe. I don't like to clutter it. So hopefully that will cover the 24 hours and not beyond. All right, let's see. What else is there, folks? Middle America Trench, South America area, all looking pretty typical out there across that area. Nothing major going on there for now. Some further movement right smack dab on the Puerto Rico Trench. Got to watch that area. It's capable of producing some mega quake activity. And again, I think we're overdue here for an 8-pointer pretty soon. The question is, got to spin the globe here really fast and pick a spot. If that was the case, it'd be probably right here, but it could be anywhere. There's many areas across the globe that are well primed for at least an 8-pointer. All right, space weather activity here real quick. Not a whole lot popping there on the sun. We did see, looks like a coronal mass ejection there. In the latest imagery here from the LASCO C2 imagery viewer, this is off of the far side, it looks like, or maybe the southwestern quadrant of the sun, directed away from Earth. So that should not be Earth, geo-effective in terms of any aurora activity. Nothing major in the aurora forecast there for now, folks. So we'll continue to keep an eye on things. As far as storm reports go here today, there is California out there, right? Tornadoes in California. Who would have thought? Well, they do happen. They're not all that common. I caught a couple here in Northern California. I have them listed on my channel. One outside of Willows back in 2014, pretty decent one. And also one here outside of Chico back in 2021 there around January. And a number of other weather-related videos here on my channel if you want to check those out. So here's the reports. One tornado report there from the Scotts Valley area. Again, you can look at the video on social media. It's all over, everywhere. A lot of tree damage, cars overturned, a couple people hurt. They will get out there and, of course, do a full review on the potential strength of that tornado. And I'm sure they'll post that here a little bit later. A lot of wind reports as well, all over the San Francisco Bay Area. I heard they had winds up around 83 miles per hour or so associated with this low pressure system. So it was a windy night last night for sure. We picked up here, at least in my neck of the woods, some heavy duty rainfall. Let's see, I think my total read about 3.5 inches. That included an inch from Thursday, so we picked up another 2.5 inches of rainfall here just from last night and early this morning. It rained pretty much cats and dogs here for a couple hours. Pretty crazy, but I enjoyed it. Looks like our next shot here of precipitation comes about Monday, Not a big whopper of a storm, but we'll take a little bit more if Mother Nature wants to send it our way. After that, looks like we have a series of storms coming in for the Christmas time period here. This is going to be Christmas Eve, a massive low pressure system bringing in a lot of rain and snow here for the Pacific Northwest. A couple models runs ago when I was doing the previous updates, this was looking pretty clear for Christmas and holiday travel, but notice how quick this changes. It still could change, but right now it's leaning towards a more active pattern out here across the country for the holiday season here for Christmas. Got a couple decent storm systems coming in there to the west coast with some decent accumulated precipitation runs here as well. Look at that. We'll definitely take it if that is what Mother Nature wants to hand out for a Christmas present, because I'll gladly take some storm systems out here. All right, little earthquake there on the China Lake station. Again, that's down around the Ridgecrest area. It looks like maybe, could it be a 1.1 coming in? 2129? Let's see here. 2129 is going to be 29, so that's going to line up with this one, I guess. It looks a little bit bigger than a 1.1, but it could just be because it's on top of this China Lake area. It could be on top of this seismograph station. Another one following that little 1.1. But nothing big happening out here for now, folks. You know, it's definitely looking interesting for a little bit over the last 10 days out here across the Aleutian Trench, Northern California, Nevada. Still seeing little signs, though. We got to watch that. The tremor's starting to die down there across the southern end of the Cascadia, but you know, it could be triggered at any moment here in terms of larger scale activity out here. We'll just watch it and see what happens. You guys have yourself a wonderful Saturday evening. I am going to call it. I'm still feeling under the weather. Appreciate all the comments and suggestions there in terms of what to do to get better. I was just about better, and then, well, you know, the kids, right? Kids tend to go to school and they bring home germs and colds and stuff like that. And I think that's what happened. But because they got sick here a couple days ago first, and then it hit Missy Mimi's, and it hit me last. So hoping this goes away again, because I am tired of being sick. I could, you know, dose up on a lot of vitamin C here, but you know, it's that can only do so much. All right, folks, have yourself a good evening. We'll catch you guys back out here for the Sunday morning update after hopefully a healthy night of sleep. Take care, folks. We'll see you guys tomorrow, which is a member drawing, by the way. So don't forget, if you haven't jumped in on the member drawing, or at least a member monthly member drawing fishbowl that we use, jump on board. You can become a member today. We give away prizes every single month. Also extra videos, extra perks, extra emojis, all that good stuff. So if you feel like tuning in a little bit more, aside from earthquake activity and whatnot, become a member and get a chance for winning some prizes there tomorrow. Probably shoot for the afternoon time period. I'll give you guys a time frame in the morning sometime. Take care. Have a good night.